HaShem. Today we continue with our class Kosher Kitchen, and we're going to dedicate this class also to Refuah Shlema, to our dear Rabbi Reuven, Shlita Yaron Ben Doris, and our dear friend Binyamin Ben Sarah. Okay, let's start. So we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and big topic is the same Lashon Hara, laws of harmful speech. No, it's actually a new topic, right? Laws of harmful speech. Today's topic is definition. Thus far, we have focused on statements which are derogatory in nature. The second category of Lashon Hara involves statements that could potentially cause harm to a person, be it physical, emotional, financial. So until now we said something like somebody insults somebody, right? So he said or she said somebody is fat, somebody is ugly, this and that, that they lose money, that it caused something. Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe this girl lost shidduch because of that, right? Maybe. But here it's like harmful, for sure. The Talmud teaches that the grama benizikin asur. It is prohibited to cause a person damage indirectly. And in many cases in Torah it says that the person is going to get punished by the hands of HaShem, right? Because the earthly Bezdin cannot prosecute the case because this person was involved only like grama, indirectly. Okay. Thus, any form of speech, even not derogatory, but which may cause harm to someone, constitute Lashon Hara and is forbidden. Okay. So, even indirect. Okay, we stop here. We continue. 1 second. We continue with chapter 1. HaShem is in chapter 1, and it was section 2. And we did 2 parts, so let me quickly read the first 2 parts for continuation, and we quickly explain. Okay, so the topic is prohibition of eating non-kosher foods. Punishable transgressions. According to Torah law, one who eats non-kosher food is liable for a punishment or sacrificial atonement only in the following conditions are met. Okay, so actually, yeah, we have to we stop on condition number 3. Okay, so let's see. Condition number 1, Shiur. The required amount. The Torah does not subject one to physical punishment and requires no sacrificial atonement if one eat less than kizayis. Right, so and in parentheses it says olive for a half egg volume, somewhat around 1 fluid ounce. So we said it's 1 fluid ounce. In grams, it's 28 grams. Okay, approximately. Okay. If the prohibited food is one of the drinks, drinks less than revi'is, right? Somewhat more than 3 fluid ounces of prohibition of the prohibited liquids. So quickly, last time we discussed it in details. Just quickly to summarize, in order to be punished by the court, right? For eating prohibited food, person has to eat kizayis, this 1 ounce, or drink revi'is. Revi'is a little more than 3 ounces. Okay, so that's one condition. Second condition, the time span of eating. Similarly, the Torah inflicts no punishment and requires no sacrificial atonement unless one eats the prohibited food within span of time that can constitute 1 act of eating. Sinaitic tradition, the tradition has defined this to be amount the time necessary to eat wheat bread that a volume of 3 or 4 eggs, right? That's how we got just remind us this 8 ounces, right? But when we discussed on Tuesday, that's 8 ounces meaning 4 eggs, or 3 ounces is more stricter, it's like 6 eggs. 6, no, not 6 eggs, I apologize. 4 eggs it's 8 ounces, and 3 eggs is 6 ounces. Okay, sorry. While sitting in the most comfortable manner is called Kidei Achilas Pras. So it's time, Kidei Achilas Pras is the time that it takes to eat this portion of bread, and it's, as we discussed last time, it's like normal portion of bread a regular person would eat during his meal. Okay. Halachic authorities assume that approximately 4 or perhaps as much as 9 minutes, right? So, even though it says we go by 3 to 4 minutes, the most preferable opinion, but if needed up to 9 minutes, so person has to eat, right? Similarly, drinking revi'is must be completed in the time span normally required for a revi'is. Okay, and he does not say specifically why, because there are a few opinions. And one of the opinion is actually in few sips. It's, as you understand, 3 ounces is not a lot, right? Unless it's some hot drink like hot coffee or something, or it's or some liquor or something, right? So the 3 ounces is not a lot to drink in a few sips, right? Or there is still another opinion, very strong opinion, also that they go by 3 to 4 minutes also. Like you have to finish this 3 ounces. Okay. One who does not consume eating or drinking within the prescribed time is not liable for punishment and need no sacrificial atonement, even though he violated the Torah law. So was the Torah law violated? Yes, it was violated. Is this person is going to liable in a court? No. Does he have to bring this sacrifice? No. Right, but it does not mean the person can cut bacon or something in small pieces and eat every 9 minutes increments. It's not. It's still prohibited, even though it does not adds up. Never, right? Because it's a size plus in a certain time span. Okay, but it's still prohibited. So, and third condition. So this is new material. Those two we discussed last time. I did not go into details, but if any questions, please let me know. If those two clear, because we're going to go number 3. Any questions? Okay. So condition number 3. The manner of eating. Any action prohibited in the Torah is prohibited only when the action is performed in normal manner. So everything in a normal manner. So we have to define what eating is. Any action performed in unusual or unnatural manner has no halachic validity. One more time, any action performed in unnatural or unusual manner has no halachic validity. Okay, so what does it mean? Thus, one who eats prohibited food in unnatural manner has not transgressed the Torah law. Some possible application of principle are. Okay, so what is it? Unnatural, unusual manner. Okay. A. Swallow hot, scalding food is not considered an act of eating. And there are some sages that actually did so. And they burned their throat because they did not, they knew that they have to eat. And but they did not want to take any enjoyment from this world. Okay. So don't try it at home, but that's not eating. However, swallowing food without chewing is considered with the criteria of natural eating. Okay, so if very hot, if somebody swallowing hot, scalding food is not considered act of eating, but swallowing without chewing is eating. So I guess some small things people don't swallow. They don't chew, just swallow. Okay. Continue. B. Authorities disagree whether or not eating raw meat constitute a natural eating act. So that's a good example. In olden days, in the Talmud, they discussed sages were chewing on the meat because of some stomach issues, something, right? But today nobody I guess I don't want to say nobody, but most of people do not eat meat. So when somebody eats this raw meat for whatever reason, So it's not considered to be eaten. C. Eating foods into which a repugnant matter has been added, causing it to become inedible. It is not considered act of eating. So commentaries say, even if only as a result of repulsive odor. Yad Yehuda, one second. Commentaries say, Rambam, 14:11, if the food itself spoiled or rotten, therefore become inedible, it completely loses the status of forbidden food. Right? So meaning it's not, at this point, if it's completely rotten, it's not considered to be food. So it's not only he's not eating, it's not food. Okay, it's like somebody swallow a piece of paper or a napkin, I don't know. Okay, so, and also when it smells bad, like most people not going to eat it, it's not considered to be eaten. And just so we know, as we learn in our class, Halachos or Brachos, let's say we're talking about forbidden food. But even if it is food that the kosher food originally, so you do not say blessing on these foods. We do not say blessing on kosher, but rotten or like spoiled or with a bad smell. Okay. So next one example D. Gluttonous eating is not considered a natural act of eating. One who has overeaten to the degree that he feels revulsion toward the food and subsequently eat non-kosher food has not transgressed the Torah prohibition, which is very interesting. It's from Talmud Yoma 80b, sorry. It's very interesting. So a person overate and now he ate for not kosher for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So it's not considered to be eaten. Okay. If, however, he's merely fully satiated, but feels no revulsion toward food, okay, so he still wants to eat, the subsequent eating is considered a natural act of eating. So if he disgusted with the food but ate for whatever reason non-kosher food, it's not considered to be eaten. But if he is not disgusted with the food, disgusted in the food in general, I mean, not in general, but because of his current situation. Okay. Next one, food in wrappings. Eating food in that was wrapped in a non-food wrapping is not considered to be act of eating. So we finished with the list, but that's one of the ways that we do. For example, somebody needs to take a pill, and it's like from gelatin, the capsule with the gelatin. So okay, and there is no kosher substitution. That's what person must do. So some authorities suggest wrapping facial tissue, right, a bathroom tissue or whatever, like a little piece, so it's covered. So for like with the last option, and swallow. So it's for sure when you swallow, it's not matter of eating for sure, and plus you have double precaution. Okay, no problem. Oh, actually, it's our next topic. So it says non-kosher medication. One who is sick, bedridden, suffer from a severe headache, for example, migraine, or running a fever. A young child may swallow a non-kosher pill, or chew a bitter-tasting tablet, or swallow a bitter-tasting liquid if no kosher alternative is available. Exactly as we said. This is not considered the normal manner of eating, and permissible in these circumstances only. Question? Okay, no problem. So let's read one more time, and we're going to explain what it says here. So one more time, we're talking about non-kosher medication. So we said one who is sick, bedridden, suffering from severe headache. There is a migraine or running fever. So let's stop here. That's a second category in the laws of Shabbos right? In the laws of Shabbos, there are three categories of people, three categories of sick people. So one category of sick people whose life in danger. So you can set aside the laws of Shabbos and you can do whatever you need to do. The second category is a person whose life is not not in danger, but he's very. Okay, could you please mute your microphone? Where is it? Please. Please check your microphone. Thank you. And one more person, please. Check your microphone, please. Okay. It's still okay. It's still not on mute. Okay, no problem. Okay. So and second type of people that whose life is not in danger is actually from goes under this description, and we can ask a non-Jew to do a different melacha for them. I think even the one that is Torah prohibited, we cannot do for him. We can do for him whatever is allowed only rabbinically prohibited, but we can ask a non-Jew to do for that person something that is prohibited rabbinically. So he can cook a soup, for example, for that person. Okay. Or a young child. So why is young child? So young child is automatically, that depends on the age and constitution of the person, of the child. Of course, like up to 5 and up in some instances up to 9 years old, it's considered a person who is always in danger, whose life is always in danger. Like somebody like sick person, like very sick, somebody with diabetes, something like serious disease. Diabetes, of course, in severe type, right? So same as this child. So we can do many things for them, right? So they may swallow not kosher pill, right? Or chew bitter tasting tablet. So bitter tasting as well in Halachos Brachot, we don't say blessing. So, but most of the chewing tablets, they have a nice flavor, right? So like some, I don't know, strawberry or raspberry, something good. Okay, but if it's bitter tasting and not kosher, right, and swallow, or bitter tasting liquid, if no kosher alternative is available, right? So that's it's not considered to be eaten. Why? Because people usually don't eat these bitter tasting foods. Okay. Right. So, and he says that this is not considered to be normal manner of eating, and is permissible if there's in these circumstances only. Meaning, in other cases, would not be available, permissible. So, I just want to add to this. There is there is a store, online store. We buy some things from the supplements. They call koshervitamins.com. Koshervitamins.com. So they located in Bora Park, one of the holiest neighborhoods in the world, and one of them. I didn't say the holiest, but one of the holiest, and there you can see they have some like vitamins, like an over-the-counter medicine that do not have a stamp kosher, but they know that it's kosher. So you can always order from them, or just check like with this over the counter, or you can order from them like this all of the syrups, whatever, cough syrup or something like you. There is no need to take non-kosher if kosher alternative is available. So that's the start to go. Kosher vitamins. Okay, continue. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, real quick. Is there an exception to they got forbid something happened, like a car accident, or you have to have surgery, or something of that nature, the medication that they give you? Some different rules for that type of medication.
Okay, one second. Let me make it louder. I apologize. 1 second. Somehow. So could you say it again? The volume was very low. So if any exception, if somebody went through surgery, that's what you mean, or?
Yeah. Like if somebody had to have like a surgery or something, or God forbid, like a car accident, and doctor sends them home with prescribed medicine, do the same rules apply to that, or
it's the same rules. Mm-hmm. The same rules apply. So if it's all like you see, if it's over the counter, so it's easier to know. If it's not over the counter, right? So you can easily check. You can always go on the website. I think, or you would have it. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I checked some years ago. Somebody asked me, and you can see what medicine is available. So if you go, it's preferable, of course, to go to the Jewish religious doctor, and you tell him, is the kosher alternative available, and he will tell you. So, but if not, if you see, if it's shots or something, so there is no problem. If it's like an intravenous, there is no problem whatsoever, because you're not eating. It's not eating at all. So somehow, believe it, I'm not sure why. Don't ask me why, but somehow I think we did not cover like the definition of eating. I'm not sure why. So eating, it's like a process. Maybe I'm not. I don't remember. But eating is a process when you put something in your mouth, and your palate actually derive pleasure from it. So you chew in and you swallow. So it went through your mouth. You feel it, and you chew in and swallow. So as we said, this hot soup, whatever they put like a scalding hot, you put in your mouth. It's not eating. It's like you don't your palate does not derive pleasure, and that's why he specifically says. So if you chew in like this bitter tasting tablets, it's not eating. But the nice like I have this melatonin, right? So they taste like a raspberry. Well, what could be better? You understand? It's like candy. So this must be kosher for sure, right? Even though like this is specific melatonin, like in money wise, so you can buy 3 times cheaper and non-kosher. I'm not sure what is that like. It's not in pills. It's chewable. Don't ask me what, but of course we go and buy kosher. Yeah, hopefully we don't need that. Okay. So but when you're in the hospital, they need to administer some things, so you just keep quiet. I mean, one more time. If it's not through the mouth or you just swallow, there is most likely it's not a problem. If there is no taste, there is no problem. Okay. Any other questions before we continue? Okay, no problem. So continue then. One who must use a non-kosher flavor of chewable pill or syrup must consult Rav. So we try to not to do that, but okay. So today, as I said, look, there are many people. There are many people today that they're trying to go kosher, and I think I said this story. Like I have in my office, I had many non-Jews. Like kosher, they said, look, we know you Jews. You're smart. You would not eat. You would not eat something that's not good. If Jews eat only this and they're so smart, they're so rich, I want to be like a Jew. I like not only in eating kosher, and it's like these people like talk like very loud, very seriously, and that's what they do. Like they eat kosher, and they prefer kosher medicine and kosher rice, and even I don't know what is kosher about rice and other things, but that's what they do. For sure, not Jews. Non-Jews. I had a few of them in my office, right? So today many kosher alternatives are available. Like, and plus Baruch Hashem, these vegetarians, even though many of them apikorsim, right? Like because they say they're trying to be more merciful than HaShem. HaShem said, I created these animals for you to bring a sacrifice, to bring an atonement, right? To derive benefit, like to work in all the days, to work on the animals, ride on animals. But these people say, no, we're going to go like above and beyond, and we're going to be vegetarians. But even this Reshaim, you understand, that goes against HaShem, it's still good. They still bring something positive to the world. What? That now a lot of coating became like vegetarian. So I'm not. They make not from animal, but from I don't know, from some oils. I don't know from what. It's very interesting. From seafood or some from seaweeds or something. So even this regime serve some purpose in creation. You understand? So today it's much easier to find this kosher alternative than I would say even 15 years ago. It was not so simple. Any other questions, or we continue? Okay, so continue. One who must ingest a pill that is covered with non-kosher tasty coating may wrap the pill in a thin layer of the tissue paper and swallow it with a mouthful of water. That's it. So mouthful of water, meaning that that does not even touch your palate. That's it. Continue. Or I would say maybe do with the juice, do with like iced tea or something. So for sure you have a taste only of the permissible taste in your mouth. Okay. So but all of these alternatives are good. It's not considered to be eaten. Nobody eats like that. One can purchase vegetable-based capsules and transfer the contents of the gelatin capsules in them. So that's another alternative. Okay. So they actually you can buy that. There is no problem. Or some of the things that I advised like some years ago. So I said to one person. So she was trying to find the kosher alternatives. It was not available. It is that many years not so many these veggie capsules, right? So what I said, maybe you can swallow like that, but this medicine. So I apologize. Of course, I did not know. I just said it theoretically. It was very bitter, and of course we found a different way. She swallowed in something else, but it's one of the reasons that they put it in a capsule because it like bad tasting. That's it. Okay. Continue. Okay. So section B. So what was A? It's probably a Torah prohibition. So A was a punishable transgression. So we just finished that. And B, a biblically forbidden but not punishable transgression. Okay. So although one who eats non-kosher foods is liable for punishment only if all of the above requirements are met. So what are the requirements? Quickly, size, time span, right, and the normal way of eating. 3 requirements. Okay. Amen. He may have transgressed Torah prohibition even when those conditions not met. For example, meaning a smaller amount, right? Hatzi Shiur, half less than the required amount. Let's see. 1 second. It was one commentary. Sorry. Okay, no problem. So, although according to the Torah law, one is liable for a punishment only if one eats required amount within specific time span, even if one who eats minute amount of non-kosher food has transgressed the non-punishable Torah prohibition. Right, Rambam 14:2. Okay, so is it allowed? No. Is it going to punish like with the earthly court? No. Similarly, one who does not conclude eating the non-kosher food within the prescribed time has violated the non-punishable prohibition of Torah. Okay, so what does it mean? The person ate kizayas, but he ate in 9.5 minutes. Okay, so kizayas, but under the certain time, or over the certain time. Number 2, ta'am kikar. The taste is like the essence. That's very interesting one. So let's see. Let's understand what it says here. So even though this title was a little confusing, right? So it says half less than the required amount. So it's not only half less, it's any, as we said, any amount of forbidden food is prohibited. We cannot eat any amount. Okay, but it's halachic name, half. Continue. Ta'am kikar, the taste is like the essence. One who does not partake of the actual non-kosher food, but eats the food into which a noticeable non-kosher taste is absorbed, transgress a non-punishable Torah prohibition. Wherever sufficient non-kosher taste is absorbed into the permitted food to make the taste noticeable, the permitted food assumes that prohibited characteristic of a non-kosher food. This is known in Talmudic principle, ta'am kikar, the taste is like the essence. So it's very interesting. Let's read it from the beginning, and we're going to explain line by line. It's very interesting concept. I mean, he does not elaborate, but it's very interesting. So let's see. One who does not partake of actual non-kosher food, but eats foods into which the noticeable non-kosher taste is absorbed, is transgressed the prohibition, non-punishable Torah prohibition. So what does it mean? So usually, like when we have let's say a pot with a kosher food and something drop of non-kosher food, right? So and this non-kosher, in most of the cases, we're not talking about truman, we're not talking about orla, we're not talking about kilaim. I'm not talking about all this regular non-kosher food, right? Pig, right? Somehow, right? So get into our soup. So we say if the taste, if amount is more than to 160, so according to Torah, it's kosher food must be majority. Majority, we understand 51%, but our rabbis, holy rabbis, said no. It's actually going to go by 60 to 1. Right, 60 to 1, so it's 16 to 1, then it's nullified. But, there is always but. But if you can still taste the amount, even it was minute amount, for example, an example that they give forbidden spices, right? When you put some spices into your cooking, you don't put like in ounces. You put like something like a few drops of this spice, and you already feel the aroma. So if this spice or whatever forbidden substance like give the taste and you feel still the taste, so this 1 to 60 law does not apply. So the whole pot of maybe like if you do the ratio, it would be 1 to 10,000, right? Still becomes forbidden. Why? Because you feel the taste, and we have this principle that it's called the taste is like the essence. So that's exactly what he's saying here. Okay, so let's finish reading. So we have continuation. Whenever sufficient non-kosher taste is absorbed into permitted food, right? So there's no essence, because let's say this non-kosher food got dissolved. No, period. There's nothing to take out, right? Okay, but the taste remain. Make the taste noticeable. It is the permitted food assume the prohibit characteristic of non-kosher food. So 1 to 60 is not always, right? Okay. Continue. Okay. Continue. Summary to section 2. Punishable transgressions. One who eats non-kosher foods is liable for punishment only under the following conditions. Okay. So one more time, we have any amount is forbidden, but some of them punishable, some of them not punishable. So, following condition. Number 1, he eats kizayis of something, right? Kizayis, we said 1 ounce approximately, of non-kosher foods, or drink revies, we said 3.1 ounces, I think, like minimum, of non-kosher liquid, right? So that's condition number 1, meaning quantity. Condition number 2, he eats this amount within the span of 3 to 4 minutes, or drink within the time span normally required to drink revies. So as we said, two different opinions. So according to one opinion, Uh, you would probably never ever say a blessing after you drank coffee, unlike if you drink in small sips, right? But according to second opinion, yes, you would say the blessing. I mean, if you finish in 9 minutes, you would say the blessing after coffee. And condition number 3, he eats non-kosher food in a natural manner. One who eats a scalding hot food, right, it's not counted, food that become repugnant and thereby inedible, but he, for example, for whatever reason he eats, right? Or one who eats a food that food in gluttonous, repulsive manner, is not has not committed Torah transgression. Meaning, as we said, he overate and now he wants to go eat cheeseburgers. He's over it. He discussed it with food in general. Now he eats non-kosher food, so it's not considered to be eaten. Okay. So continue. Nevertheless, even one who eats less than the required amount or does not complete eating the food within the prescribed time violates the Torah law. So HaShem is going to get this person one way or another. Okay, so it's nothing to be happy about. Similarly, one who merely eats food that absorbs in noticeable taste of a non-kosher food has violated Torah law. This last concept is known as the ta'am kikar. The taste is like the essence, right? The taste is like a... But today, with modern technology, they have all of these foods that make from soya, like soya beans. It's unbelievable. Like all of this, even non-kosher taste. You have one time we bought kosher bacon, so it's turkey bacon, I think, like crumbs. $5, like big container. So. So I'm not sure if it tastes exactly like bacon, not exactly like bacon, but it's very interesting. We wanted to try. So today, like you have all of these similar tastes. Okay. Any questions on what we said? Okay. All right, no problem. So now we go into chapter 2, and somebody asked me this question, I think yesterday, on the chat, right? So. How the food and utensil become non-kosher. Okay, so we said what is hot utensil, cold utensil. That's our topic. How the foods and utensils become non-kosher. So we're going to learn in this chapter hot foods that touch one another. Okay, hot liquids pour over the foods. Foods and utensil placed into hot liquids. Cold meat and dairy that touch each other. Foods soaked in or salted together. Steam and aroma of foods. Non-kosher aroma. Foods cooked or baked simultaneously in an oven. So all of these scenarios, as you see, very, very practical. All of them we're going to discuss in this chapter. So very interesting. What information must one present to a Rav when asking a Shabbos? So many people cannot ask a question, right? So in order to ask the question, you have to possess a lot of knowledge, right? So you have to, like as we saw in the introduction to this book, the author say maybe this book you should not chas v'shalom substitute a rabbi, but at least you'd be aware of many situations where it's questionable, when you have to ask a rabbi. Many people do not know when to ask, what to ask, or who to ask. Okay, so it says, my son ate meat and then touched a bagel. May I eat bagel with the cream cheese? That's a good question. When one passed a non-kosher restaurant, it is permitted to stop and enjoy aroma. That's a good question, right? May one hand ladles and spatulas over a stove. may one hang ladles or spatulas over this. So what is the problem? That the aroma from your food, like on top of the stove, you would use you would cook dairy food and meat foods, right? And meat dishes. So this aroma, of course, it evaporates, and it's going to affect these things that hang over the stove. Very interesting. Ladles. Okay. How should one add salt and pepper to the boiling pot? So what is the problem? Again, the problem is that this evaporation. So now, okay, you just want to put a salt. There is no problem in your mind. But these vapors are going to rest on a salt, right? And then when the next time, so they're going to dry. Next time you want to salt, let's say from meat, there were vapors from meat. Now you want to salt your dairy food, and now from these vapors, get what? They're going to guess what? They're going to get mixed with vapors on a salt from meat. So meat and milk, of course, it's not noticeable amount, but theoretically, right? It's going to be mixed. Continue. May one use the hot water from a hot water dispenser in an office that is shared with non-absorbent co-workers? So you say, what is the problem, right? They use it only for coffee. It's not true. It's very, very not true, and I'm going to explain why. Some of them would make this instant soups, right? And some of them have pigs, this instant soup. So they would put under the dispenser and get the hot water this way. That's also a problem. Yeah? Not everybody making coffee, only coffee there, and tea. Okay, so that's just some of the issues that we're going to address in this chapter. So we go into introduction. Most of the issues in the kitchen, kashrut problem, involve foods or utensils of meat and dairy that touch or mix with each other. In order to recognize when this is a problem, one needs to understand the underlying principle. The basic question is always, was the taste from one food or pot transmitted to the food or pot of the another type? In this chapter, we will discuss what conditions are necessary for a taste to be transmitted from one substance to another. Okay. So let's try to understand what it says here. So actually, let's read it again, and we're going to explain line by line exactly what it says here. We're going to it. Most of the issues in the kitchen kashrut problem involve foods and utensils of meat and dairy that touch or mix with each other. So up to now, whatever we said was about non-kosher foods. So no normal person, let's say, not going to have non-kosher foods. As we said before, for example, if you're going to invite some people, they're not non-Jewish, and let's say they have to stay in your house for whatever reason, right? The house of your co-worker burned down, and there is nobody who can host this co-worker, so you want to host this co-worker for a few days. So you said, don't bring any food, whatever you like, eat outside, don't bring leftovers. Right? While you're in my house, you have to respect my laws. That's the law, right? And so this non-kosher food is out, right? It's out of the question. Of course, you must know, it's only with when interacting with other people. Now, the problem is narrowing much less, right? To what? To meat and milk together. Meat, milk is allowed. Dairy foods are allowed. Meat foods are allowed. There is no problem. So what is the problem? The problem when they mix together. In order to recognize when there is a problem, one needs to understand the underlying principles. So as we said yesterday, actually, so in our classes we always try to give the big picture. So if you have a big picture, it's easy for you to understand why all of these details matter. Otherwise, when you learn separate things, I mean you understand, but you would not derive one thing from another. Okay. The basic question is always, was the taste from one food or part transmitted to the food or part of another types? That's the most important question. So, and we're going to see if it was cold, there is no transmitted of the taste. I'm just give you like a little preview. When it's hot, so we have to understand how hot, how long this spoon was in this environment. Was it dairy? Was it meat? Right? How are we going to use it? And so we care about only meat and the milk mixed, right, or the dairy products. And was the food transferred from one to another, into the food or into utensils? It's not always the same. Okay, continue. In this chapter, we'll discuss what conditions are necessary for the taste to be transmitted from one substance to another. So now he said, he changed the language a little, which is very smart. He said substance. Substance mean it could mean the dish, or substance could mean even the walls of the utensils. It's not. It's a little different laws. Continue. When two foods come into physical contact, taste cannot be completely transmitted from one to another unless two conditions are met. Okay. A, it must be at the medium through which the taste can be transmitted. Okay, we're going to explain. The taste can be transmitted through only through a liquid or a fatty medium. Number one. In addition, B, the foods must be induced to infuse and absorb taste through that medium. Among the conditions that bring about infusion of taste is the heat, salting, and soaking. Okay, so let's stop here. We're going to the beginning of a paragraph and try to understand what it says here. When the two foods come into physical contact, and I'm not sure why he's narrowing that. Not always the physical contact is, we would say, even if they were baked in the same stove, right? And like aroma from one can go to another. It's not, there was no physical contact. But let's see. When two foods come into physical contact, taste cannot be completely transmitted from one to the other unless two conditions are met. So we care about the taste of one going into the other. Right? That's main point. Mixture of the taste, because mix of milk and meat is forbidden. That's the main point. There must be a medium through which taste is transmitted. So mediums, he underlined the medium. There must be a medium. So if two dried foods, two dry foods, so you put one on top of the other, you remove one like from another. Let's say, what would be the example? I don't know, like you have a piece of bread, you have a tomato, you put bread on top of the tomato, you remove the bread, there is no taste of the tomato on the bread, and same as tomato, like nothing, right? But if something is wet, that's a different story, right? Taste can be transmitted thoroughly only through a liquid or fatty medium. So through the dry, they do not usually transmit, right? Fatty medium, like meat, right, or others, and liquid. And second condition, in addition, B, the foods must be induced to infuse and absorb the taste through that medium. So the food must be able to receive the taste. Maybe there is medium, but is food ready to receive the taste? Also very interesting. Among the conditions that bring about the infusion of taste are heat. So through the heat, like one, as we explained actually in the laws of Shabbos. So one surface is going to like cook another surface. And I guess that's what it is. Like when they do a cheeseburger, right? So the meat is hot, and they put a cold cheese, and the cheese start melting. Right? That means that this surface of the meat cooking the cheese. Okay, so it's first through the heat, right? To the heat. salting. When you salt something, it's actually cooking. According to Halachah, it's cooking. For example, raw fish, right? So fish is not edible unless you I don't know, from these cultures, from Eastern culture, they eat raw fish, from Japanese or something, right? Or Chinese, right? I think they eat, some of them eat raw fish. Not all of the raw fish, but okay, whatever they eat, there is no problem. So, but for other people, the raw fish is not so edible. So, but if you salt it even after a few hours, like in some, I have a student, they asked me a question, so I was not sure. I was not sure. So they said whatever the process they use, and they say in 2 hours, like 1.5 2 hours, the fish is ready. You can eat. So completely raw fish, whatever they salt, this and that, spices, whatever they do, so you can eat. Okay, no problem. So it is for sure is cooking, right? So for sure taste is going from one to another. And what's soaking? So soaking for sure can affect, it depends how long, but soaking can affect the vessel for sure, or they soak together. So soaking meaning in cold water, that does not have to be hot water, even in cold water. Continue. In this chapter, so it's only introduction. So the author is painting like a roadmap, all of these things that we're going to discuss. There are no details yet. In this chapter, we'll discuss two issues. The medium that enables the transmission, for example, liquid, and the conditions that cause the taste transmitted, for example, heat. These halachas relate to the non-kosher foods that comes in contact with kosher foods and transmit non-kosher taste to the kosher foods. More relevant to the kosher home, these halachas relate to meat and dairy foods that come into contact and transmit taste into one another to produce basar v'chalav. Basar is meat, v'chalav is milk, right? Basar v'chalav. Or to pare foods that come into contact with either meat or dairy, absorb the taste, and thereby become meat in double quotes and dairy is double quotes. So let's read this from the beginning, and we're going to explain because it's a lot to explain here. So one more time, in this chapter we'll discuss two issues: the medium, right, that enable transmission, for example, liquid, through which liquids and through which fatty environments it's going to transmit, right? And a condition that cause the transmission, for example, heat or salt or others, right? So through which medium and what is going to help, right? Heat or others. This halacha relate to non-kosher food that comes in contact with the kosher foods, right? So even as we said, most likely if you don't have strangers in your house, it's only you and your family and everybody's kosher, there is no problem. So the only issues you would have only with meat and dairy foods. That's it, on one hand. On another hand, exactly the same laws apply to the non-kosher foods, like with non-kosher foods, with kosher foods. Let's say you had a pot that is not kosher for whatever reason, right? Or it's part of that was used yesterday, let's say, or yesterday or this morning was used for a dairy, and now you cooked meat, right? Are you allowed to eat meat, or you eat or you cook spaghetti? Are you allowed to eat the spaghetti with meat or with cheese? Like what to do? Okay. This halacha relate to non-kosher foods that comes in contact with the kosher foods and transmit non-kosher taste to the kosher foods. That's the second part. So as we said, it's all even though the two different scenarios, but conditions they apply to it is exactly the same. Exactly the same. More relevant to the kosher home. These halachas relate to meat and dairy foods, as we said, that comes in contact and transmit taste into one another. That's the issue. To produce basar v'chalav. So this mixture, meat and dairy, is forbidden. Or to pare food that come into contact with either meat or dairy. So meaning the pare food, meaning it's like we said, our spaghetti. If you just finished, let's say you just finished cooking your stew, right? And now you want to do spaghetti. So you pour your stew out in some other containers for storage, and now you want this pot to use for spaghetti. Even you washed it well with the soap. It's even dried, no problem. And now you want to eat. So the question: can you eat this spaghetti with cheese? Okay, so are they still paref or not? Okay, that's the issue, right? So this spaghetti, so we know it's not paref. It's for sure it's meat, even though like there is no meat. It does not taste like meat, but meat in double quotes, halachically meat. So absorb the taste and thereby become meat or dairy foods. Okay, so let me check time. Let me see how much time we have. You know what? We finished the introduction, so I guess we can stop here, and we can answer a few questions. So unfortunately, I don't remember all of the questions. I didn't have time. I had just finished my previous class, but two questions I remember. And I will ask Joshua, please, to ask to check the other. So one question was about condition to start eating a fruit, right? Do you have to peel it, or it's proper to say while it's whole fruit, right? It would be more respectful to say the blessing on the whole fruit. No. The answer is that you have to prepare as much as you need to take your time, prepare so you would have as less interruption between blessing and the action as possible. So as our sages say, the best, the longest interruption that you can do is actually 2 seconds, right? 1 to 2 seconds. So you say the blessing and you start eating. That's the proper. So if you want to eat like a piece of steak, so of course you cut piece of steak, right? You cut, you put it on your fork, you're ready to eat, you say the blessing and you eat. You say you want to eat a piece of potato, you prepare this piece of potato, you're ready to eat, you say blessing, you put it in your mouth. That's the proper way. So and same with fruit, and some people they make this mistake. I don't know why, like with bananas. So bananas is not ready to eat. You have to peel the banana, and then so you peel the banana, you're ready to eat, and then you say blessing. That's the proper way. Okay. So the same with fruit. You want to eat. You want to peel your. Of course, orange. You need time to peel orange, right? You need to time. Some people want to they peel the apples, so peel your apple. There is no problem. Whenever you're ready, say the blessing. That's one question. Another question I remember, if somebody have on Shabbos, at Shabbos towel. So first of all, why this question was asked to begin with, right? That's a very good question. So it's laws of Shabbos. So it's proper to have designate things specifically for Shabbos, like separate. Even though they could be like the same quality. For example, somebody cannot afford like a higher quality. There is no problem. But let's say we bought towels, right? So I'm going to start new towels. I'm going to use only for Shabbos. Let's say I use it 5 times, 10 times for 3 months, 10 months, and then I'm going to transfer them to regular towels, and I'm going to take the new ones, and I'm going to use it for Shabbos and holidays. That's a proper way of doing things. If you can buy something very fancy schmancy, of course it's better. So the problem is the question was if it says Shabbos on a towel, if you can wipe your hands, there is no problem. You can wipe your hands. And so it's today everything is very, very commercialized, right? So today in Judaic store, I saw not today, but I saw some time ago. It's not funny. So why did I see it? So one of my students asked, like she wanted to buy this towel for her little son, and she asked, she told me like if I and my husband are going to wipe the hands in the little towel, it's it's not enough for both of us. I was like, why little towel? Why you even ask a question? I say, I don't understand why you sell bigger towel. She sent me this link from Judaica store. So it says on a towel Netilas Yadayim. So it says exactly. So if you want like embroidery on Netilas Yadayim, yeah, that's what you do for kids. But you can use any towel. So you understand, but it's some people who do not know in their mind that's the only towel it must be used. But with Shabbos, of course, there is no problem. It's no desecration to the name, even though the Shabbos is the holy, but the sign is not necessarily so. Okay. Joshua, can you check? I think it was a third question. Just 1 second, Rabbi. Could you check what was on the WhatsApp, please? I think it was third question. I just forgot.
Yes, it was a long question about washing hands.
Okay, could you read? I probably didn't have time to read.
If our hands are unsanitized after using the bathroom or working in the garden or whatnot, are we allowed to wash our hands with soap before washing them with Yadayim, or do we wash with soap after? Do we walk out of the bathroom to say the blessing and then walk back in to dry our hands? Or do we always dry our hands outside the bathroom? The same question, before we eat challah and our hands are dirty, is if it's okay to wash with soap before or after?
Okay, so there is. Thank you very much, Josh. There are actually a few questions, as you heard. It's a few questions in one. So first of all, if you have dirty hands, so it's proper. Yeah, it's proper to wash the hands first with the soap, and then some people dry them completely, and then pour water twice. Okay, you can do that, but some people you can just wash. They now the hands are impure. They're impure for sure. Because why? Because they were impure, and now you wash the hands, and you did not purify. They're still impure. They clean physically, but they impure spiritually, right? So now you wash. After that, you wash like twice on the right and twice on the left, and you're ready for Netilas Yadayim. About it's proper if possible for Netilas Yadayim, as our sages say, not to wash in a bathroom. For after the bathroom, there is no problem. You can wash after the bath. If you have option like to wash it in the kitchen, for example, if you have, it's preferable. If not, again, no problem. So after the fact, you wash it in a bathroom, but you cannot say the blessing in the bathroom. So what do we do, right? What do we do? So we wash in the bathroom, take our towel outside the bathroom, and then you say the blessing. That's it. So we say the blessing, and then we wipe our hands. That was actually, it's very good point, because when we wash for after the bathroom, so we first dry our hands, then we go outside. If you have towels inside, so you dry like hands in the bathroom, you go outside and you say the blessing. Okay, because the reason is, just as I always try to give a big picture, the washing of the hands are not like saying of the blessing is not strictly connected to the washing of the hands. So you there is like, okay, you can still say the blessing. It's not proper maybe to say, well your hands are impure, but after the fact you can wipe on your clothing or something on piece of not on your clothing, but on a napkin or something, and you can say the blessing anyway. Okay, so I think that's what he said. Garden soil, just so you know, it does not make hands impure. Just so you know, dirt and spiritual impurity is not. It's not the same. So we don't have to like wash after that, unless you know that you touch some places on your body that are usually covered. You touch your shoes. Otherwise, your hands, like if you were paying attention to your hands, they did not become impure. So dirt and impurity is two different things. As my Chavrusa for many years, he always say he's like to joke. So he's one of the jokes of the Pesach. So he said, I always remind my wife, that dirt is not chometz and husband is not dirt. So people on the Pesach, especially women, but because of the ignorant men, That's my explanation. No, they do not learn the laws of Pesach. They do not learn what is they supposed to clean or not, and they try to clean all of the dirty spots in the house. They try to clean. Is it necessary? No. As I would say, just say 90% of maybe more. I would say of cleaning people do on Pesach are not necessary. I mean, if you want to clean the house, that's one thing, but don't call it a big mitzvah because it's not. You understand? So dirt is not chametz. Okay. Any other questions on any topic? Robert, yes, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Rabbi. About the like swallowing a pill that has a bitter taste. What if it's not a medicine? What if it's like a vitamin or something? Can it be non-kosher, or does it have to be kosher?
It's as you said, preferably to find in a kosher substitute. So I specifically said about vitamins. Go to after the class. Go to koshervitamins.com. I mean, if it's kosher, it should be there, or it should have some kind of substitution. Right. So, but if don't, so I mean, technically, the most lenient opinion that I saw, just so you know, so we can, if in cases of the need, we can, thank you, we can go by the most lenient opinion, so you can swallow, because one more time, it's not eating you. This, even though like let's say capsule is from it's usually from the pig. I don't remember what name they used, and I had to call the company and say, what does it word mean? I please tell me. I could not find in the dictionary. I don't remember. I said, no, it's actually the pig bones, the pig sin. I always vomited. I said, okay, don't continue. But but technically, it's not considered to be eaten because you swallow. So as he said, as author said, and that's what I also advise. So if you can wrap it in a tissue, so for sure you don't have your palate even does not even touch the pill, no problem whatsoever. But one more thing that we must mention. So just keep in your mind, even though some things are available or allowable. As we learned in our class about medical halachah, so it says very interesting thing. Even though it's when somebody's life is in danger, for sure on Shabbos, and you're allowed to give that person non-kosher food, for sure you're allowed, 100%. But it says clearly, I would say, just say, if it's possible, if this person can wait, it's preferable to kill the whole cow to prepare the meat and give him a kosher piece of meat. So the question is, if this non-kosher food is allowed, it says clearly, and Shalom says allowed, why would, and you just go to your neighbor, right, Steve, and get 1 pound of meat, you cook food in his pot, in your pot, doesn't matter, like you can kosher later, and then give to your sick family member. Why would I go get all these people involved, get a cow, get a shechter, this and that on Shabbos? It's so much work. Why would I do that? And now I just explain, even though it's allowed, and you would allow to eat the non-kosher food, guess what? The fact do not change. This non-kosher food went into your system. It went to your blood. You want it not, or you taste it, did not taste it. It's all irrelevant. It went into your system, and guess what? It went to your brain. You understand? So if it's minute amount, but some people have some strange ideas. Why? Maybe not all of the food they eat is kosher. So that's why we advise do your best to find a kosher substitute, or do at least wrap it in something. Okay, but if eaten even in permissible manner, so we have to remember it's going to affect our soul. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Any topic? Go ahead.
Yes, yes, I know we just touched on the milk and meat, but say for example, you need to cook. We have one stove, and you need to cook a meat dish.
Could you please speak closer to microphone? I apologize because it's hard to hear you.
Let me fix it. that better?
Yeah, yes, better. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. So, for example, if you only have one stove, oven to cook under, and you have a meat dish to cook, and then you want to make like a cake. How would you handle that situation? Would you have to cover the meat dish for the vapors not to go out, or would you put the dairy in first, covered, or how would something like that work?
You mean the dairy cake? You mean cake with dairy?
Yes.
No, we don't.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We don't do that. We absolutely never, ever do it. So I don't know what they did in olden days, but today you get a second stove or a small stove. So that's what I advise to some of my students. So you buy some electric one, like does not cost much money, and you use it for daily. So especially people with kids, they like daily, like pizza, this and that. So buy yourself electric stove. That's resolve all of the issue. But if you're going to do it in one oven, like for sure it's forbidden, because the vapors are going to set on all of the walls, and that, like, let's say, right, you did dairy, and then you take out the dairy, like you would never clean the stoves properly. And in order to clean it properly, it's we're going to learn in this book how to prepare for Pesach. You have to do self-cleaning. If you want to do self-cleaning every time, there is no problem. But I would say it's too much. Okay, so it's proper to get like separate stove, like for dairy only. They're not very expensive. I don't know, $100 or so. Some less. I mean, up to you, whatever you want. You want a fancy schmancy, maybe 200 tops, but don't do it in one. Okay. Any other questions?
So, Rabbi, so you need 2 stoves to cook meat and dairy? Is that what you're saying?
To at least not stove. I mean the ovens, like that they put inside.
Potted pans?
Say it again.
Oh, oven. Okay.
Oven. Yeah. On the top, yeah. On top there is the top of the stove. There is no problem. I mean.
Okay. So what about with the glass stoves? Is that okay too? You know how we also there's a issue when you have glass. I don't know, glass.
Yeah, gas stove. So you have this electric one, correct? Electric.
Yeah.
So the problem with electric, I tell you what was the problem. So I learned from my Naza Chavrusa many years ago how he can he bought this house and he had like all of the new appliances, but this old owner, for whatever reason, don't ask me whatever reason, so he disconnected gas, natural gas, and he had only electric. Forever he wanted to save money. I don't know what was in his mind, right? But that was the agenda. So this friend had only the electric stove, and he wanted to cover with a blech this stove, this piece of metal. Guess what? On the first Shabbos, it's all cracked. This guy, you're not allowed to cover this electric stove like this glass with anything metal. So meaning what? They have to get a plata, right, to warm up the food. We're doing inside of the oven, but it's not very practical. I mean, on Friday it's good, but during the day it's not practical. Right, but you have to do the blech. You cannot warm the food otherwise, because the stove is capable of cooking. This plata, right, when you like hot plate, plata, hot plate is the same thing. Well, when you buy, so it says clearly not for cooking. So and it's never too hot, never too hot. And still, even in this plata, doesn't matter. We still do like put one container, inverted container, like an aluminum container, and on top we say we put whatever we want to warm. So it'd be double.
Okay, but the question would be like, if you're like only have one stove, are you allowed to cook meat? Like if I'm cooking meat or if I'm cooking dairy, am I allowed to put the pot in the same glass stove, or do I need another stove?
No, you can do on one stove. There is no problem. If it was a question, I would say the only restriction would not in the same time, but one after another. There is no problem whatsoever.
Okay, great.
So of course, if there is a spill, you must wipe off the spill. But
of course,
yes. But otherwise, because of the very high temperature, it burns everything in. So there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, very good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That you were not, and so I was getting I got a little stove that has 2 burners because they told me no, you're not allowed to do that. But anyway, thank you. That's awesome.
You're welcome. And it's not a leniency. So when it's leniency, I always say it's leniency, but it's not. It's lechatchila, like from the beginning. There is no problem whatsoever. Okay. Any other questions before we start? Okay. Anybody? Okay. So if not, so we stop here. Baruch Hashem. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and thank you. It was a very successful week. We learned a lot. Baruch Hashem. I wish everybody good Shabbos, and let's do next week even more successful. Beezrat Hashem. Thank you. Good night. Good Shabbos. Thank you.
Thank you.